Teehee, I just got a comment saying, is anthropology a science? And, in all my crazy moves, for some reason, it's weird how there are some articles of belonging that just stay with one. And it's weird how, there are so many moves. I've lost so many things, given things away, things stolen, whatever. But this funny book, Carnival Culture, has just kind of stayed with me. And I was thinking, it's obscure. I don't think many people have heard of it. It reminds me a little bit of Marshall McLuhan, who wrote The Medium is the Massage, and other, great, funny, interesting, insightful books about culture and the trashing of taste in America. And it's a really great book for a lot of reasons. And one thing that I found amazing in it was, and it was kind of just like showing, highbrow. There's highbrow culture and there's lowbrow culture. So this would be highbrow culture in the 50s or whatever. And this would be lowbrow, culture in the early 60s or something. So he had all these different definitions. And one thing that was really interesting was that things change and move around. So here we have our high culture with the gatekeeper, and it's more about taste really than anything. And then we have popular culture, and then we have low culture. And this book, I'm trying to see when it came out, because I think I had it like in the 80s or something. And so so highbrow culture would be, abstract expressionism. He has just, all of these, postmodernism, ancient Rome. And the lowest part of high culture was Ivana Trump, and the highest part of low culture was Donald Trump. So it's interesting. It's weird too, because I was like working for him around this time. But they also show in this book that that highbrow culture and lowbrow culture, that it can move, that there is a fluidity to it, and that let me see, and that what is anthropology now, and the Museum of Natural History and things like this that are considered highbrow. My son has a degree in anthropology that is highbrow. That it came really from lowbrow, kind of traveling roadshow freak shows. That anthropology was originally, and the museums that are now considered highbrow, like the Museum of Natural History, are just parked road freak shows, and a really tragic example of the collusion between the highbrow and the lowbrow. And I believe it was mentioned somewhere in this book. I know it was, I've read too many books and it all kind of goes together, but I'm very certain that it was somewhere in here as well, where there was a man from a place that, it's like Papua New Guinea or, Hottentot, some very exotic, faraway place, who was brought in from anthropologists, and he saw some of his relatives in the Museum of Natural History, stuffed and taxidermied and put on an exhibit. So this is where lowbrow culture, the original, the traveling freak show, the carnival, kind of had to settle down in one place. And, they built these kind of grandiose, heroic buildings, edifices, and threw all that junk in there, and suddenly, had degrees in it, called it anthropology, and it suddenly became, a science. So, that I found to be fascinating. That what has been lowbrow became highbrow, and this might be a little bit off topic, but it's funny that where the United Nations is located now in New York used to be where the Rockefeller stockyards were. And they needed to kind of unload that land for a lot of money. And, it's funny because a lot of farmers kind of complain, and say, get us out of the United Nations. And the UN was actually a stockyard. And it sort of still is in its own weird animal farm way. So everyone, Carnival culture is by a man named Twitchell, not to be confused with the Eckankar guy named Twitchell. That's a whole nother video, and I guess I might be forced into doing it at some point, and that is meeting Prince, our purple wonderful Prince, when I was in Minnesota in a very cold time. But everyone have a great day, and yes, our little lowbrow anthropology exposed videos are coming out now. Take good care. Happy New Year. Bye.